Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sea Otter exhibit. My name is Micalah. If you're wondering where my voice is coming from, I'm actually standing up here on the mezzanine level behind most of you all. Hello, good morning. You're all here at the perfect place at the perfect time. In just about a minute or so, we are going to be feeding our three southern sea otters that are on exhibit right now. Our three girls that are on exhibit are Ivy, Selka, and Rosa. And in just a moment, from that back door there, our trainers will be entering in this exhibit with some silver buckets on their hips. Now, this is going to be a feeding and training session for our southern sea otters. What that means is that our trainers will be asking the otters to do different behaviors. We may see eye drops there that are not actually medical eye drops, but more just in case we needed to use them. We may see our trainers use different targets or even things like a syringe. They're also going to be calling our girls by name. That's the easiest way to have that form of training with them. Now, with our three girls on exhibit, it is very, very easy for me to tell these girls apart. Because if you notice, each one of them has a different level of blonde on their face. Now, our blondest otter in here is Ivy. Now, you can see the otters are starting to move around a little bit as our trainers are just about ready to come out. Our darkest otter in here is Selka, and then the blondish dark otter is Rosa. And each one of these otters are going to go to a different station as our trainers are starting to come out. They are going to be tossing food out as our trainers ask each otter to go to their specific spot. So on the far right-hand side in here, we've got Ivy, again, our blondest otter in here. In the very middle of the exhibit, we have Rosa, and on that back deck, we have Selka. Each one of these girls are here as they are deemed non-releasable by California Fish and Wildlife. And again, I mentioned it's a feeding and training session, so we'll be asking them to do different behaviors throughout and rewarding with their favorite foods. Now, on the menu this morning, we have some soft food items that include squid, clam's tongue, and some delicious shrimp. Now, those soft food items are there because if we were to give these otters hard food items on exhibit, think like an abalone, an urchin, a clam, they actually would end up taking those and hitting them up against our windows here. They look for a really hard place to break open the food items, and it just so happens when they do that, it usually scratches up our windows. So instead, we give them the hard food items behind the scenes a couple of times throughout the week. That then allows them to get that crunching behavior, but also allows them to have that food behind the scenes to make sure they're getting that. If you notice on the back deck on the left-hand side, our trainer there has a syringe with her with some tasty food in it. Looks like Selka moved away as Selka's still learning about the syringe. She is our youngest otter here. Now that just has a mixture of her favorite foods in it, kind of blended together. But we do this as part of training to make sure that these otters are comfortable if we needed to use that for any medical reasons whatsoever. Same with on the far right of that back deck, our trainer Jessica is working with Rosa, offering her some eye drops there to make sure that if she needed those, she would be able to take them a little bit more easily. Now, of our three otters here, our youngest I mentioned is Selka. She is 8 years old. The middle right now is Ivy on that far right-hand side. Ivy's about 10 years old. And on that back deck, Rosa is now 22 years old. Now, if you think that's incredible, it absolutely is. As a typical female sea otter would live about 10 to 15 years out in the wild. And, you know, she's living an incredible life here. She's got free food, free healthcare, no predators. What more could you ask for, right? But Rosa's also helped to contribute to all of the programs we have here at the aquarium. These otters are here more than just to be a cute face. They're also an ambassador for their species and able to act as a foster mom for any stranded sea otter pups that are found out in the wild. You see, about 100 years ago, these sea otters were hunted for that thick fur that you see. Sea otters actually don't have any fat on them whatsoever. They have this really thick, soft fur. It's about 1 million hairs per square inch. And they were hunted for that until their population was down to just 50 individuals. Now, those 50 were then protected. Those 50 have turned into the about 3,000 we have today. That's a higher number, but it's still a very fragile population. So here at the aquarium, we are working hard with our teams to study their population and also to help contribute to it. All of our otters on exhibit here are able to act as foster moms to be able to care for pups that come in from the wild. Rosa has since been retired from that program, but she helped us raise 15 pups while she was a part of the program, a huge benefit to that wild population. Now, our fourth southern sea otter that is a resident here is Kit, and she's actually currently behind the scenes with a pup, helping to teach that pup what it is like to be an otter, teach them all of those really important life skills, how to dive down and get food, how to break into food, all of those key things that an otter needs to be an otter. But also, these girls have to eat so much food. During these feedings, they have 3 scheduled feedings throughout the day and then different enrichments that they get. They typically each are eating about 20% of their body weight or around about 10 pounds of food every day. If you compared that to you or I, it would be like us eating 25 large pizzas every day all by ourselves. It is a lot of food. Now, these girls need to eat that much because they have such a fast metabolism. They really will spend their time doing 3 important things: eating, grooming that fur, and sleeping, right? So these otters are incredible to get to see and get to have here on exhibit. It's absolutely amazing that they're able to be ambassadors here with us. Now, as our teams continue to offer them some food, we notice that on the back deck there, Rosa, she's at that far part of the back deck, is getting offered some delicious foods for allowing our trainer to touch her fur. This is an important piece of the training, that tactile touch. And here she goes back into the exhibit right there. Now, otters are able to use those back flippers, but they don't always choose to do so. Sometimes they just want to be lazy and slide around on that back deck. Now, we may see throughout the day they add some enrichments into the exhibit here. We want to make sure our otters are continuously mentally and physically stimulated. So we'll add different things like some fake kelp into the exhibit, maybe some ice to act as an enrichment. They love the crunching sensation of that ice. Or maybe even we'll offer them some toys in here. Otters love to be able to break into items to grab their favorite foods, and that's very important in here. Now, it looks like our trainers are just about down to the bottom of their bucket. What they will be doing at the end here is taking a large handful of that food that is left, handing it to the otters, and then stepping out of the exhibit. They're still doing a little bit of training here, but I'm going to go ahead and step off microphone now. If you have any questions, again, my name's Micalah. I'm standing up here on this mezzanine level, and I'd be happy to chat with you. But if you're moving on, thank you so much for joining me here. And I hope you have a great rest of your day today here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Thank you.